Good evening, viewers. Welcome to today's edition of Citizens and the Law. Citizens and the Law is a program aimed at demystifying issues or all issues standing as strange before the gullible heads and lay persons. The citizens are supposed to know their rights, defend their rights, and of course, you are also expected to be law-abiding as far as the law is concerned. Today, we are going to look at a very important aspect of law of property. Precisely, we are talking about land, upon which every physical property situates and operates vis-a-vis the legalities and illegalities. We are going to do exactly land trespass. And with me here in the studio to get the I's and T's dotted and crossed vis-a-vis provision of answers to all the questions is Barrister Larry Emeka Nwongu. Counsel, welcome to the studio.
Good evening, presenter.
My name is Jude Mascot Obiagu, the presenter of the program. Counsel, I think we just have to get ahead. Right. Tomorrow is going to be a public holiday, and we all need to do what we're supposed to do today. Then the first question, Counsel, is I want you to tell us generally definition of trespass. Then thereafter, you tell us what trespass upon land or trespass to land is.
When you talk about trespass, as its name actually denotes, it simply tells us about somebody who actually steps over bound, or somebody who actually, goes further than where he or she ought to. Get to. And looking at it, when we apply it to land, then we will now talk about somebody who actually, steps into a land, or somebody who actually throw in or he puts up an object that actually can trespass into some other person's land, or can project into another person's land, or that stays or continue to stay in a land when he actually ought not to. So in the light of these explanations, one can see, that trespass is something that cuts across not just only land. There are other areas, where this also can
But in this
apply.
aspect of when you talk about nuisance, we talk about the vicarious liability, some other aspects.
Yes, well, in actual fact, there is also a thin line between trespass and also when you talk about nuisance, because a situation can arise where we might want to look at the act of a particular person in order to understand whether it is actually trespass or nuisance. And the distinction which the law usually use in trying to do that has to do with direct and maybe indirect trespass into land. So the law also applied that this thing in trying to do that. And our court has actually been called upon, to actually interpret or distinguish, between trespass to land and nuisance. In the case of Sanaya against Emmanuel, in that case, somebody built a house, which actually he made an incursion into his neighbor's land. And the plaintiff was also, the defendant was also being accused, or should I say, or part of the this thing against the plaintiff was that he was throwing dustbin into the plaintiff land. He was also excreta, was also being ejected into the plaintiff land. And when our court now try to distinguish these two things, the court says that the throwing of dustbin into the plaintiff land is actually trespass to land. Why that of the excreta into the plaintiff land is a nuisance, because in nuisance, you also need to prove damage.
In other words, can we now call a trespasser also a nuisance? Somebody who is trespassing, is he not also a nuisance?
Strictly speaking, the law of trespass is very much interested in protecting possession. That is the main interest of the law of trespass to land, in protecting possession. Possession is paramount because you can even be in adverse possession. You can even not be the owner of the land, but you are in possession. The law will protect you as being in possession.
We are coming to that, to the extent of being dangerous against the owner. Christmas is very much around the corner. We are drawing very close to Christmas. Don't you think we are going to get a lot of cases that has to do with trespass going by our people's problem? Just talking in relation to the Christmas period we are in.
Actually, Ix of the Niger and Igbo people as a tribe, we actually like property. And we like also to invest in buildings, and you cannot build on air, you can only build on land. And since land is the engine room of fiscal development, down here during Christmas times, instead of some people enjoying themselves, you will see them struggling over one thing or the other by way of somebody. Ordinarily, you can walk into somebody's land, although you may have permission to do that, but a situation where the person who owns that particular land now tells you, my friend, you have to leave. From that moment when he has asked you out, you become a trespasser. So you may have come into a land legitimately, or you may have come into a land by way of an invitation. Just like one of the scenarios that arose where maybe for somebody who has purchased a ticket for a cinema show, and you came into the cinema hall, and at the end of the day, maybe there was something that happened, and they now ask you to leave, that. If you refuse to leave, then you may be, seen as having trespassed, irrespective of the fact that you came in, with an authority. So these are some of the areas where, people should be very careful during this holiday time or during the Christmas time, which is coming in. When you go into somebody's house, you cannot assert authority over there when in actual fact that person is the person who is in possession.
Okay, ndị Igbo na-ege ntị maka na ABS bụ maka ndị Igbo, bụrụkwa maka ndị ada anụ asụsụ Igbo. Ife anyị na-ekwu maka ya bụ ịba naanị abụrọ nke gị n'ụzọ dị iche iche. Ngafe ajụla ya n'oyibo. Ụzọ dị iche iche mmadụ ga-esi wee banana onye ọzọ ọ reda iwu, ma ọ bụ ihe dị ka ihe a na-akpọ nuisance. Ịpụta ịfụ ihe dị ọha na eze mma, ihe ga-abara mmadụ uru, ma mmadụ ibe gị ije gbochie ya, kwuchiere mmadụ ụzọ si na ọma agafe, were moto gị blọkụ ebe mmadụ si apụ, ma ọ bụ onye ihe dị ka nwa ma ọ na-agbara mmadụ bọị idinye ya je emebie ife. Enwere ka ya esi tụlebe n'iwu ịta afụfụ ya, enwere ka ya esi bana ife mmadụ ịta afụfụ ya. Adị ama ndị mmadụ ị na-anya n'onyonyo, ị ga-afụ akara ị ga-eji kpọọ anyị. Anyị chọrọ ka anyị mepee igwe okwu anyị n'oge. Ọ ga-abụ anyị kpara nkata anyị agbada, ịchọ ịkpọ jụọ ife ị chọrọ ịjụ. Lọya bụ ka onye Igbo, ebe ahụ ka o si wee makasị mma. Council, now that we are in this Christmas period, I know that this land trespass, I want you to point at various aspects of land trespass, because I used to hear that when you own the land, under the land you are the owner, on the land you are the owner. Even ahead of your building, into the airspace, you are still the owner. Can you get these things well explained? To the extent that we have a caller here. Hello. Hello? Go ahead. So to the extent that even when you have a tree in your compound and the branches extends into the other person's compound, getting across the fence, it has become a trouble. I don't know, can you get these things clear? If possible in Igbo language, so that English and Igbo. Hello? So, can you help us?
Actually, the law, mado, a place, a piece of land, a piece of parcel of land. And that piece of parcel of land.
Hello? We have a network problem. Your voice is not coming out clear, so you have to keep crying. We are going to get you later.
So, like as I was saying, when mmadụ nwere ala, inwe ala, in possession, or ala in possession, because like I said, na trespass mainly na achieve protect. Though na under trespass you can also sue for title. You understand?
Yeah.
But the main issue, trespass to land, they're interested in protecting whoever is in possession of that land, that you do not trespass upon that land. Now, if a land, somebody not in possession of the land, it is also deemed that the land is not in possession. Even with the land down, even by the land, to high heaven. That was the impression before.
Let's know if you can get this person. Hello? Yeah, your name and location. I'm hearing you. Your name and location. Can I be Sabo? Nam, they calling from where? Can I be Sabo? No, it's not for Nande. Ngwajwajo Nande from Northia.
Stanley from.
Okay, Stanley from Northia. Stanley Drive Jogo, either English or Igbo. Well, that's a network problem. We are getting calls here, but network wouldn't allow us to get or hear the voice of the callers. So it's an onye nwane wokpuru ye nwere etiti ye nwere enu ye we gbagowe we ruo enigwe.
That was the how it is, or before. That was the how it was deemed that na onye nwe ala nwe gbadaruo ma na osimiri dịkwa n'okpuru ala anyị nọ n'elu ya. N'okwu otu a ka onye a nwe ya wee ruo n'eluigwe.
Hello. Please, let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. Let's go and break. We'll be right back. This land trespass, I don't know whether to some extent it may hinder developments. We are talking about the tube station that can run across people's houses underground. Is that not also trespass?
Well, like I said, the impression or how it was deemed before now was that whoever owns a piece of land or in possession of a piece of land has a right over that land to the high heavens and even deep down.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, your voice is very clear. Your name and location.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Your name and your location. Then you go ahead with your question.
My name is Amaka.
Amaka, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Agulu.
Amaka from Agolo. Okay, you are free to ask your question either in English or Igbo. Amaka from Agolo, we've lost her. Okay, Council, go ahead with this trespass.
But the law has come in order to define the extent of ownership or possession one can have to the high heavens or to the deep below. Because when you look at the Aviation Act came in to say, it is now deemed that a person can only own a land or the airspace to a reasonable extent. To a reasonable extent.
To the extent of a skyscraper.
Something like that. To a reasonable extent.
Okay.
That reasonable extent may be skyscraper extent.
Yeah.
So the Aviation Act has come in also to make it to be appreciated that when at the up at the high heavens.
Let's get this caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Your name and location. Hello.
Yes, sir. I want to confirm tomorrow public holiday.
That is not the topic for now. What we are doing is land trespass, but I should think that tomorrow is public holiday. But that is not the topic we are handling here. Okay, Council, go ahead.
So, amazingly, the law in such a manner that airplane, civil aviation, can use airplane above your land, so long as the use of that airplane damage your building or whatever, or in the process of that airplane taking up, it does not damage your building or whatever. Now, that impression that you can...
Let's know if this call is going through. Hello.
Hello.
Your name, your location.
Hello.
Hello, I'm hearing you now. Your name and location.
I'm calling from North here.
From Northia, what is your name?
Stanley.
Stanley from Northia. Okay, Stanley, your question quickly.
I want to someone allowing this girl to enter someone's farm. I want to know whether is it not trespass?
Okay, Stanley, just keep yourself glued on the TV set. I have a question that will answer your question. Your question will be addressed, don't worry.
The owner of a goat allows the goat to enter my farm.
Keep watching, but Council can answer that question, even though that lies ahead. Council, you have been explaining something, but hold this question. Stanley is watching. You are going to address it later. Go ahead.
All right. So, like I was saying, the law has come to curtail the extent to which a person can owe the airspace to the extent of reasonable use because you cannot owe what you cannot use. When you go into the sky or where the airplanes are supposed to have their routes and things like that, you cannot owe that. And more so, when you talk about the underground, in developed countries, which will also apply in Nigeria, it is only to the extent that you can only use. And you will also remember that our law that has to do with mining and minerals, you understand, will also curtail your entitlement or your ownership of land to some extent, because if exploration and minerals are detected under the ground, you can be entitled to something, but not you, because that area has been belongs to the federal government of Nigeria for them to mine and things like that. So when a tube station is built, it goes under. It's an underground tube station, which are seen in the developed world. Those things does not infringe or become a trespass, so to say, over your land, because you can only owe to a reasonable extent. That is the modern way of possession, and so that the state or something that will be for the public good and public use cannot be prevented by clumsy definition of owing land to high heaven and deep below.
Hello. Stanley asked a question from Northia. Stanley, I hope you are still watching. Now, I want you to address this question, which will take care of Stanley's question. What do you have to say about invasion and destruction of farmland or farmlands by cows, by sheep and goats? Are these not trespasses?
When I was actually talking about direct and indirect trespass into land, one will realize that when you make a projection, or when you throw in something into someone's land, or when you actually is the cause of.
Let's get this caller in addition. Hello. 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 Go ahead.
So it becomes trespass, because these things, if a person who is in possession of a land, and all you need to show that you are in possession of a land is, for instance, you are farming in the land. You have some economic crops in the land, and there are certain things which you have done in the land to show that you are in possession. You might not necessarily have fenced the land. It's for farming purpose. For somebody to leave his own goat or his own cow in order to come
or
and
sheep.
destroy, or sheep or whatever, to move into your farmland, the person has actually, it boils down to trespass, because they will cause some loss of damages in the process. That is the reason why.
Maka na bosi gara aga ka anyị na-ekwu maka highway, ndị mmadụ wee mata na iri agara n'ime ogbe, n'ime Ọka, n'ime Ọnịcha, ebe ha na-ebuchisi canopy were eme ife dị iche iche. It is unlawful. Iburu canopy buchie ụzọ, ọwa ọkọrọ, ọ iwu ka ị na-ada. Nke a kịta a na-ekwukwe bụ nsị lọya kwuo n'oyibo, ife nwanne nwoke si n'ọfịa kpọrọ na-ajụ bụ maka ego ịta ife n'ubi mmadụ, wee gbakwunyekwa wee efi ma atụrụ. Lọya mma achọ ka ịkọwa ihe a n'Igbo ọfụma.
Ndị Igbo ma, ndị Igbo anyị wụ ndị nwere uche, ndị Igbo anyị wụ ndị nwere nghọta zuru oke. Ọ ya mere Igbo tete ji wee tụọ ilulu ha sị na ọkụ adịghị emebi ọkụ ibe ya.
Eziokwu.
So Igbo ma n'eziokwu na onye ọwụna nwere ọkụ ga-echekwa ọkụ ya. Onye ọwụna nwere ọkụ ekwesịghị ịhapụ ọkụ ya ka ọ banye n'ọkụ onye ọzọ, maka na onye nwere ala, ọ dị in possession of that land, ọ property ka ọwụ, ebe ọ na-enweta ihe ọ na-eri. Ịrapụ ife gị ya banye n'ala ya jee mebiere ya ife, ihe ọ pụtakwara wụ na ịdakwara iwu. ịdara iwu onye ahụ chọkwa ịgbago akwụkwọ n'ụlọ ikpe ọ ga-ekpegbu gị maka na iwu kwukwara na inwe ewu ma ọ bụ atụrụ ma ọ bụ efi nke ọwụ na ị nwere ịrụ ọrụ ha ebe ha na-anọ ndị oyibo na-akpọ ya ranching ndị oyibo na-eme otu a far back ọ wụdị today ka ha bido mewe mana anyị nwa
hello kedu afọ gị na ebe isi agbọ na ndị oyibo na onwe fa na mbọsị ugbo na fa na alụlụ efi ebe ha
na-anọ ebe anyị bidoro ị na-anụ cowboys n'ọsị ya kedu ebe ihe ndị a bidoro ndị na-achịkwa efi ha nwere ebe a na-azụ efi azụcha ya nwere otu esi ebupụta ma ebe a ga-eri a na-ahapụ efi ya akparaba na ubi mmadụ mebiere onye ahụ ihe ọ kụrụ n'ubi adịghị eme otu ahụ
so ọ bụ ọsọ ewu na atụrụ ka a gara ekwu maka ya ndị a na-esi na mgbogo were agbadata laghachi efi n'ụzọ dị iche iche were egbe na-akpagharị so na ha na-adị iwu trespass.
Yes, every person knows.
All
the state kwesịrị to stamp this because ụdị ihe ndị a na-lead into conflict, hostility, into civil disturbance and into loss of life. Loss of life.
Iwe na iwe ọ bụrụ na anyị jee nwe obere break nata aga m achọ ndị mụ na fa na-alụkọ ọlụ ka fa tinyere anyị ụmụ obere ihe m wetara dịka ihe a ga-eji wee matụ trespass anyị na-ekwu maka ya. So we are going on short break. Immediately after that, I want to see the visual that is, reflective of this topic.
Speaking during the demonstration within Oko and environs, the chairman of Ihengu village, Oko, Mr. Peter Okoli, described the people of Ihengu as peace-loving and progress-minded. He noted that the action taken by the President General and woman leader of the community against the village was a smokescreen aimed at diverting attention from the main issue. Mr. Okoli narrowed the problem to bad leadership and neglect of certain sections of the community, regretting that their village is on the verge of total collapse as most of the roads are no longer accessible. He then called on government to come into the matter to get it solved once and for all, suggesting dialogue as the best option.
Anyị achọrọ isi anyị na-egbu mmadụ nke anyị ji akwado igbu mmadụ no onwe ife aha ha na-eme agitate ha na-complain ka anyị nọdụ n'ofu ogologo oche nke a na-akpọ dialogue ka enwee dialogue ka ekwuo ife dị otu a anyị ekwuo our own part na ebe esi emegide anyị eme ya address udo adị n'oko.
Contributing, the youth leader of Ihengu village, Mr. Arinze Anyalobu, assured of full compliance to the resolution on the sand excavation in the area, noting that the interest of the people is their greatest concern. Mr. Anyalobu encouraged all indigenes of Oko to remain patriotic for the development of Oko and Orumba North local government area at large.
Anyị mechiri ikpe aja for 3 good years ka e wee rụọrọ anyị mbuze emelo ya and mbuze na-agba ma be anyị na obodo dị iche iche na-ekpo dị aja ama ọkpara na-ekpe aja na nka na-ekpe aja ọ bụ na-ekpe aja ndị ike na-ekpe aja anyị na-ayọ ọ bụ na achọrọ imechi esi na aja na-agba mbuze si mechie nta ha Olumba North ebe niile a na-ekpe aja onye ọbụla na onwere onye dị against that na ihe anyị dị against bụ kedu ka ị ga-esi mechie ebe anyị be ndị ọzọ a na-alụ ọrụ ọ kwụsịrị mbuze.
From Oko in Orumba North local government area, Valentine Mbaduwa reporting for ABS News.
Council, from what we just watched now, it's all about protests from communities against land excavation. What do you have to say? What are your observations there? Does it have anything to do with land trespass? Land excavation? Is there any way this land excavation could mean a trespass?
From what we saw in that visual, that's a stream they are talking about, and there is a high level of excavation going on, which the state government charged with the responsibility of protecting the environment frowned against and asked that no one should continue doing that. They have a right to say so because it is also a trespass, and which also is degenerating the environment and is also causing landslide. You will also agree with me that Anambra State is one of the states that ranks very high in terms of erosion index, in terms of landsliding, and this environment, they need to be protected and checkmate. And you will also remember that the governor is the custodian, and the land within the territory of the state has been vested in him. He is the owner of the land within the territory for use and for common good.
And he stands to protect these lands.
Exactly. That is just the truth. So when he say don't, there are certain reasons. If they tell you the amount which government invests in checkmating erosions and landslide, you will marvel. So it is for our common good and interest.
That people should not embark on careless excavations.
Yes.
Ndị na-ekpo aja n'ụzọ dị iche iche, aja eji adụ ụlọ, aja eji eme nke ọzọ. Ọ bụrụ ikposi aja tata echi niile asị na mbuze abata. Mbuze aha gbọkwa ebe dị iche iche. Enwe ndị na-akpọ ya mgbomgbo, ndị be anyị na-akpọ ya mbije, ndị ụfọdụ na-akpọ ya mbize, ụfọdụ na-akpọ ya mgbomgbo. Obodo tiere isi na ya unu a na-adapụ oisi dị iche iche, ihe dị iche iche a na-emebi. Well, Council, I want to ask you again, when is land said to be fenced in law? Must every land be fenced, or what is the actual meaning of this fencing in the perspective of land trespass, so that our people will know?
When you talk about fencing a land, that also will show the extent of possession you have over that land.
Yeah.
But that does not in any way negate the fact that if you do not fence your land, you cannot access the
land.
Not that you cannot access the land. That is to say that you cannot have any claim or any this thing against any trespasser into your land just simply because you did not fence that land. No, the law in this regard it is when the issue of establishing possession comes in, because one can be talking about trespass. Like I said, sometimes all of them are in the same suit. Trespass and possession, all of them can come up in the same suit. Even if you are the person entitled to that particular land, the person who is actually in possession, because you may have given him a lease or a sub-lease, as the case may be, except his act is affecting the land. His act of trespass is degenerating the land so badly. That is the only time. But if not, he can even maintain an action of trespass against you, irrespective of the fact that you are the de facto owner of the land, and who has a rational interest over the land. So, in issue of fencing, it can only show the extent of possession when you look at it in trespass. It does not. When you don't fence it, all you need to establish also is that you are in possession. That is the way I want to look at the issue
Okay,
of
let's know if we
non-fencing of
can
a
get.
land.
Let's know if we can get this caller. Hello. Hello. I want us to talk about. I want you to tell us something about the possibilities of remedy. Are there remedy or remedies one could get when there is a case of trespass against him?
Like the plaintiff in a suit of trespass, even the criminal code, section 292 of the criminal code, actually provides that if a person is in trespass in your land, you can you can reasonably, with reasonable force, you understand, eject the person from the land, so long as you do not cause harm, bodily harm to the person. So you can, if a person walks into your land or into a land you're in possession of, and it boils down that he has trespassed, you can use reasonable force to actually move that person away from the land. And then if there are certain things which the person actually has placed on the land, like he has dug a foundation or something like that in your land, or he has kept a tank in your land, all these things can amount to continuing trespass because they are still there. And if that same person continues to stay in that land, he is also continuing trespassing on your land. So when we look at trespass generally, it tries to protect the interest and the possessory right of a person over a particular piece of land, and these are the things that one need to actually understand, because whatever damage you may have caused in the act of that trespass, you can actually be expected, to remedy that. So you cannot say just because you feel this land belongs to you, you go and start removing windows or doors or pulling down somebody's structure. You don't do that. All that you need to do is to maintain a suit in order, even if you have a superior claim or a superior title over the land, you need to maintain a suit in order to establish this, rather than taking the laws into your hand, which can lead to breakdown of law and order.
The last question is very close to that. To what extent does one's occupation and use of another person or person's land amount or graduate to ownership by the occupier to the extent of amounting to trespass against the true and the former owner of the land? Let me strike a near example. Somebody wants a piece of land and maybe the community gives him the land without any further agreement or documentation, without statement of what happens on the land. And the person later begin to use the land in a way far away from what the community has in mind. And maybe they begin to destroy things on the land. What does the law say? Who committed trespass? Is it the person who has occupied that land? To what extent does one's occupation and use of another person or person's land amount or graduate to ownership by the occupier, now to the extent of amounting to trespass against the rightful owner?
Let me look at it this way: a situation where
we have exactly 4 minutes to go. So
somebody grants a lease, or to a person of a determinable number of years, and when that lease, by a flution of time, comes to an end, the person who may have granted the lease has a reversionary interest over that land. Within that period, the person who the land was leased to is still in occupation or in possession, except if there are grievous damage which he is doing to the land. That is the only way you can, come up with a suit in order to make him not to continue depreciating the land. But outside that, you can, the owner of that land can only maintain action within the period where he is, after the expiration of the determinable number of lease years. You can maintain action to, if he is still in possession or if he is still holding over the land. That is the way. But the owner of that land must not just barge into the person whom you have leased your land or even rented your apartment.
This is not lease. This is not lease. Isi obodo yibo nata gba obodo. Aga m emerụ nke a ọlụ ya adị ife niile ga-adị fọwọ́ gbakọrọta nye gị anị esi na ihe eji ọlụ indọsịrị a na-adịgide n'aka o ịbịa lụọ ụlọ elu n'akụkụ ya biri echekwa ma ụlọ ebe indọsịrị ya dị oisi anafụ eto wee gaa udo ruo ihe dịka 10, 15, 20 years obodo wee basị ka indọsịrị kedu nke a wee tiri ihe niile na igwodo na-echeghị maka ego niile itiri ebe ahụ ma ihe dị iche iche onye dara iwu trespass ọ ndị obodo ka onye lụrụ na ọ ghọrọ ndị be ha ghọrọ na
mana mụnwa na-eche na oge na this our modern days and even some years back the issue of land has always been expected that na ga-enwe documentation. A ga-enwe documentation because land abrozi anyị agafego before oge community na-oye land. Then eventually ọbịa banye into family oye land. But today individuals oye land because certain family have parcellated, they have partitioned their land and they have parcellated it and they have also distributed it to members of the family. So now from the way our law expects, because these things might come up in court, though you can trace oral histories and things like that, the person whom they have given the land might have a problem because he needs to show that this land actually he purchased it, or that this land it was a gift given to him by the community, because the community may have given him the land as a gift. He also needs to show that this land was a lease for a certain number of years.
We have taken our time off, but the advice is, under what any condition you want to give out land, you want to give it free, you want to sell it, let there be documentation. That is the legal advice the legal gentleman has told us here. So, dear esteemed viewer, this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Citizens and the Law. I want to say a big thank you to Barrister Larry Mwangu. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I am Jude Mascot Biago, the presenter of Citizens and the Law. Thank you very much. It has been on ABS Television Channel 2 for Oka. Next week, we are coming up with another interesting package.